welcome back. Time to take you up on the board and talk about this great man in honor, of great works. 20 after the hour, one live on Melody 91.1. Let's talk about Ayi Kwei Armah. Ayi Kwei Armah here on the dashboard.
Yeah, oh, would you love to come with me?
And anytime you hear this song from the camp of the man Shashamale, you know it's time for us to either honor or tell our own story, tell our story. Sometimes in a television style and fashion, sometimes we try to actually go live with it in a television fashion. Yeah, man, he was actually born Ayi Kwei Armah. That's a Ghana name, but you ask yourself why the roots tied to the Western region. Well, I will let you know. He was born on the 28th of October 1939. Born on the 28th of October 1939, he's a Ghanaian writer best known for his novels, including The Beautiful Ones Are Yet to Be Born. The Beautiful Ones Are Yet to Born. That was actually released in 1968. 2000 Seasons, released in 1973. And The Healers, released in 1978. He is also an essayist, as well as having written poetry, short stories, and books for children. Ayi Kwei Armah is the man pan honor in this edition. We are telling stories of our heroes and heroines. We are telling stories, our very own stories in honor of the month of March, Ghana Month, Heritage Month. I've told you about the Independence Square, the features of the square, and what they stand for. I have told you about the coat of arms. I've segregated the coat of arms, and I've actually explained every piece or every component of the coat of arms to you, and who actually designed the coat of arms. I have told you about the Ghana flags, segregated the Ghana flag, dismantled the Ghana flag into pieces, told you about the colors, what they stand for, and the one who actually put together or designed the Ghana flag. I have told you about the Edinkra symbols of Ghana, the Akan people, where the Edinkra symbols came from, and how they became Akan symbols. I have actually told you about the smoke of the northern people of Ghana, the history behind the northern smoke, where it came from, how it's tied to the Mosi people or the Musi people, and how some people in Cote d'Ivoire wear the smoke as well. I've told you about the cocoa bean, one of Ghana's cash crops. The cocoa bean, and I've told you it's not a bean, it's a fruit. But we've grown to know it as a fruit, as a bean, but it's a fruit. I've told you about the cocoa crop. It's a cash crop, one of Ghana's cash crops, one of Ghana's green gold. The history behind it and who brought it to Ghana. All of this in honor of the Ghana man, all of this to project the country Ghana. Today I am telling you about the true son of Ghana, one of the true sons of Ghana, Ayi Kwei Armah. Call him me Ayi Kwei Armah. The name tells you he's a Ghana person. Ayi Kwei Armah was born in the port city of Sekondi Takoradi in Ghana to Fanti-speaking parents. Descending on his father's side from a royal family in the Ga Nation. From 1953 to 1958, Armah attended Prince of Wales College, now known as Achimota School, and won a scholarship to study in the United States, where he was between 1959 and 1963. He attended the Groton School in Groton, MA, and then straight to Harvard University, where he received a degree in sociology. He then moved to Algeria and worked as a translator for the magazine Revolution African. In 1964, he returned to Ghana, where he was a scriptwriter for Ghana Television, GTV, and later taught English at the Navrongo Secondary School. Between 1967 and 1968, he was editor of the Jeune Afrique magazine in Paris, From 1968 to 1970, he studied at the Columbia University, obtaining his MFA in creative creative writing. His work in New York, on his second novel and other writings was supported by a grant the Fairfield Foundation actually made available to him, a CIA fund that supported many African artists and writers. In 1979, somewhere around the 1970s, he worked as a teacher in East Africa at the College of National Education, Changombe, Tanzania, and at the National University of Lesotho. He subsequently taught at the University of Massachusetts, and then at the University of Wisconsin. He has lived in Dakar, Senegal, since the 1980s. In the village of Popingwan, about 70 kilometers from Dakar, he established his own publishing house, Pe Ank, the African Publication Collective, through which he owned books which are now available. Yes. A lot of publications to his credit, beginning his career as a writer in the 1960s. Armah published poems and short stories in the Ghanaian magazine Ochiame, and in Harper's magazine, the Atlantic Monthly, and New Africa. His first novel, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, was published in 1968. It was published in 1960. So let me get it right. The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. That's it. The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. It was published in 1968, and that particular book tells the story of a nameless man who struggles to reconcile himself with the reality of post-independence Ghana. In Fragments, in 1970, the protagonist, Bako, in a Bintu, a man who has been to the United States and received his education there, back here into Ghana, he is registered, he is regarded with superstitious, beliefs as a link to the Western lifestyle. Baku's grandmother, Nana, a blind seer, stands in living contact with the ancestors. Under the strain of the unfulfilled expectations, Baku finally breaks. As in his first novel, Armah contrasts the two worlds of materialism and moral values, corruption and dreams, two worlds of integrity and social pressure. He released Why Are We So Blessed? Somewhere in 1972. It was actually set largely in an American university and focused on the students, Modine Dufo, who has dropped out of Harvard. That story also focuses on, somebody, he writes about people like that, sometime in the 1973, he released works with regards to African slave, the transatlantic and African slave trades are the subjects of Armah's 2000 seasons, released in 1973, in which he pluralized communal voice speaks through the history of Africa, its wet and dry seasons from a period of 1,000 years. Arab and European oppressors are portrayed as predators, destroyers, and zombies in this particular book. The novel is written in allegorical tone and shifts from autobiographical and realistic details to philosophical pondering, prophesying a new age. The Healers were released sometime in 1978. Mixed facts and fiction about the fall of the Ashanti Empire. So he writes around these areas, as an essayist, Armah has dealt with the identity and predicament of Africa. His main concern is for the creation of a Pan-African agency that will embrace all the diverse cultures and languages of the African continent. Armah has advocated for the adoption of Kiswahili as the Africa's central, continental language. He has actually advocated for the adoption of the Kiswahili as Africa's continental language. He was born here to Fanti-speaking parents, even though his father is Ga by descent. He is a legend, still a legend. He is a legend. A true son of soil. He has excelled in his endeavor. He has excelled in his field of play as a writer, as an essayist. He has done well, and he has projected Ghana. He has taught in, Lesotho. He has taught in Dakar, Senegal. He's lived around America, the Europe, schooled around, all in the bid of projecting Ghana. He has flipped the flag of Ghana so high, all in honor of Ghana. He is a legend. And this month of Ghana, where we project Ghana and promote, our heroes, we put the spotlight on this great man, Ayi Kwei Armah. He is a legend.
The PM Jam.
Some things are just never said.